You notice the silence before you notice the hunger. No chewing, no crackle of roasting meat, no one laughing with a full mouth beside the fire. Your stomach folds in on itself. And for a moment, every sound in the camp becomes sharper than it should be. For most of human history, food running out was not an inconvenience. It was a test, not a test of discipline, or budgeting, or willpower, but of memory, movement, social trust, and how well your body could survive while the land refused to feed you. What did your ancestors do when the easy food was gone? They did not simply panic and wait. They read the world. They watched birds, tracks, clouds, insects, animal droppings, dry grass, old campfires, and the faces of people who had eaten less than they admitted. Hunger was not just an empty stomach. It was information. Modern life teaches you to think of food as something stored behind doors. A fridge, a cupboard, a store shelf. But for ancient humans, food was scattered across a moving landscape, locked inside animals, buried under soil, hidden in trees, trapped in bones, washed onto beaches, or held inside the knowledge of another person. So when food ran out, the first survival tool was not a spear. It was attention. Anthropologist Richard Lee saw this clearly in his classic work with the hoansi people of the Kalahari. Especially during his 1960s field studies around Dobie. The hoansi were not ancient humans. And they were not fossils. But their hunter-gatherer lives gave researchers one rare window into how sharing, gathering, and movement could reduce the danger of empty days. Lee found that plant foods, often gathered by women, could provide a steadier base than dramatic hunting stories suggested. That matters, because when food ran out, ancient survival was not only about the hero who killed a giant animal. It was about the person who remembered where the last edible tubers grew after the rains failed. It was about the grandmother who knew which bitter plant became safe after pounding, soaking, or roasting. It was about the child who spotted honey, eggs, grubs, berries, shellfish, or a trail of ants leading to something useful. Would you know what to ignore and what to dig up? Your body would ask for calories. Your world would answer in riddles. A root could feed you, poison you, or waste more energy than it gave back. A carcass could save your life, or make you sick, or attract a predator bigger than your entire group. This is why ancient hunger was never just about bravery. It was about judgment. When the main food sources thinned out, your ancestors widened the menu. Archaeologists call this a broad-spectrum diet, which simply means eating many different kinds of food instead of depending on one big prize. At sites like Blombos Cave in South Africa, researchers have found evidence that Middle Stone Age humans used coastal foods such as shellfish along with land animals and other resources. A shellfish bed does not run away. It does not gore you. It does not require a perfect spear throw. But it does require timing, tides, memory, and the willingness to eat what the shore gives you when the inland hunt fails. So if the savannah went quiet, the coast could become a pantry. If large game moved away, small animals mattered. If fresh meat disappeared, fat trapped in bones became treasure. At Qesem Cave in Israel, Ruth Blasco, Ran Barkai, Avi Gopher, and their colleagues reported evidence that early humans stored animal bones for delayed marrow consumption between roughly 420.000 and 200.000 years ago. Bone marrow is the rich fatty tissue inside bones. In plain language, it is energy hidden behind a hard wall. The surprising part is not that humans ate it. The surprising part is that they may have saved it. That changes the picture. Instead of ancient people always living hand to mouth, the evidence suggests that some groups understood a simple but powerful truth. Today's leftovers could become tomorrow's emergency. What would that feel like during a hungry night? You sit near the fire with your stomach twisting. The big meal is gone. The meat has already been cut away, shared, roasted, dried, chewed, swallowed, and remembered. But beside the hearth are bones that still matter. Someone lifts one. Someone cracks it with a stone. A pale smear of fat appears inside. And for a moment, the camp leans closer. It is not a feast. It is a delay. A few more hours of warmth in the body. A little more strength for tomorrow's walk. When food ran out, delay could mean survival. The next strategy was movement. Your ancestors did not live in a world where staying put was always noble. If the animals moved, people followed. If the water dried, people shifted camp. If a patch of roots was exhausted, the group had to decide whether to dig deeper, split up, or leave. But movement was dangerous too. Moving meant carrying children, tools, fire, knowledge, and weakness across unknown ground. It meant spending energy before knowing if energy would return. So ancient humans had to solve a brutal question. Do you stay hungry in a known place? Or risk your last strength walking toward a maybe? This is where social life became as important as food itself. Anthropologist Wiessner studied hxaro exchange among Jew, hoansi communities. A long-term system of gift relationships that connected people across distance. Hxaro was not a simple trade, like one tool for one meal. It was a web of obligation, memory, friendship, and future help. In a world without supermarkets, your social network could become your emergency storage. If your camp failed, another camp might have water. If your hunt failed, another family might remember a debt. If your child was hungry, a relative, partner, or exchange friend might turn scarcity into survival. Food was stored in bodies. Yes, it was stored in bones. But it was also stored in relationships. Would someone feed you when you had nothing to give back today? That question may be older than money. Frank Marlowe, who studied the Hadza hunter-gatherers of Tanzania, showed how food sharing could be constant, complicated, and deeply practical. The Hadza are not living replicas of the Paleolithic, but their lives help reveal something essential about human survival. Big food comes unpredictably. And unpredictable food pushes people toward sharing. A large animal is too much for one person to eat before it spoils. A failed hunt leaves one person with nothing. Sharing smooths out luck. Today you miss. Tomorrow you receive. The day after, someone else is saved by your success. This was not soft kindness added on top of survival. It was survival technology. When food ran out, the group became a kind of living insurance system. But that system had rules. People watched who shared. People remembered who hid food. People noticed who boasted, who lied, who took too much, and who quietly gave a child the last better piece. Hunger made morality visible. It turned character into evidence. And in a small camp, evidence stayed alive for a long time. So let's reconstruct one hungry day. The morning begins without a meal. The fire is low, and the children are quieter than usual. Your mouth tastes dry. Someone checks old tracks near the edge of camp. But the prints are too old, softened by dust and wind. A hunter lifts a spear, then lowers it, because walking after ghosts can waste a whole day. An older woman points toward a patch of ground that looks empty to you. To her, it is a memory. She knows that beneath the cracked surface, a buried plant may still hold moisture and starch. Starch is stored plant energy. For a hungry human body, it is not exciting. It is fuel. You dig. The dirt is hard. Your hands ache. A child helps by scraping with a stick. At first, nothing happens. Then the root appears. It is small, too small, but it is something. The group does not cheer. Hungry people do not waste energy pretending a root is a feast. They keep looking. By midday, someone finds grubs under dead wood. Someone else collects tough seeds that will need pounding. A few people walk toward a distant watercourse where birds have been circling. Every discovery is weighed in the mind. How much energy does it cost? How much danger does it bring? How many mouths can it quiet? This is the ancient math of hunger. No numbers written down, no spreadsheet, only bodies comparing effort against survival. Then comes the smell, not fresh kill, old meat, a carcass somewhere beyond the brush. Your stomach pulls you forward, but your fear pulls you back. Scavenging could save people when hunting failed, but it came with a terrifying price. A dead animal is not just food. It is a message to lions, hyenas, vultures, insects, bacteria, and every hungry creature in the area. The question is not, can you eat? The question is, who else has already come? Your ancestors had to read the order of arrival. Vultures in the air, hyena tracks in the dust. A smell too strong, a silence too complete. One mistake could turn hunger into injury, and injury into death. So the group edges in carefully. Someone watches the grass. Someone grips a stone. Someone cuts fast. The best pieces may be gone, but bones remain, skin remains, tendons remain, fat remains. If luck has not taken it, ancient hunger taught people to respect the parts modern eaters ignore. Bone, blood, organs, brains, marrow, fat. These were not disgusting leftovers. They were concentrated life. This is one of the counterintuitive truths about ancient food shortage. When food ran out, your ancestors did not always become more reckless. Often, they became more knowledgeable. Scarcity forced attention toward hidden calories, seasonal patterns, backup foods, and relationships that only mattered when the easy answer failed. Hunger did not only punish humans. It trained them. It shaped memory. It rewarded cooperation. It made planning valuable before farming ever existed. It made grandparents important, because an old person could remember the famine before this one. It made children useful in small ways, because many eyes could spot many chances. It made language matter, because one person's discovery had to become everyone's root. Where did you find the roots? Which tree had bees? Which waterhole still had tracks? Which camp owed help? Which plant made people sick last dry season? Without writing, memory had to live in stories, warnings, jokes, songs, gestures, and repeated walks across known ground. That was the pantry, not shelves, not cans. The pantry was the landscape remembered correctly. This is why agriculture later changed hunger instead of simply ending it. Farming could create stores of grain, but it could also tie people to one crop, one field, one season, one drought, one disease, one harvest failure. Foragers faced hunger too, sometimes brutally, but many could answer shortage with movement, variety, and social flexibility. That does not make ancient life easy. It makes it smarter than the cartoon version. Your ancestors were not simply starving figures waiting for a mammoth. They were trackers, diggers, gatherers, sharers, scavengers, cooks, planners, and negotiators. They knew that survival was rarely one dramatic moment. It was a chain of small correct decisions made before weakness took over. Today, when your food runs low, you may open an app. You may check a delivery time. You may stare into a refrigerator and say there is nothing to eat while calories sit inches from your hand. Your hunger is real, but it is cushioned by systems so large you barely notice them. Roads, farms, trucks, electricity, packaging, money. A modern empty fridge can feel frustrating. An ancient empty camp could feel like the edge of the world. Yet the emotion connects you to something old. That sudden focus when you are hungry. That irritation when food is uncertain. That comfort when someone offers you a meal. That is not weakness. That is your nervous system remembering an older problem. For hundreds of thousands of years, hunger taught humans to look outward. Look at the ground. Look at the sky. Look at the fire. Look at the bones. Look at each other. Because when food ran out, survival was not found in one place. It was spread across the world, hidden in pieces, waiting for a mind careful enough to find it. You notice the silence before you notice the hunger. But now the silence is not empty. It is the moment your ancestors began to listen.